In this video, we will learn about the Eitz Hada'as, and there are three parts to the Eitz Hada'as. The first part is the sin itself. The second part is how Hashem confronted each of those that were involved in the sin. And the third part is the punishment that they received. So the first part, the sin itself, so the Torah tells us that the snake was created as cunning, able to talk, and that he stood upright on feet. Now the snake desired Chava, and so he wanted to get Chava to feed Adam from the Eitz Hada'as, and this would cause Adam to die, and the snake could then have Chava. Now the way the snake did this is by asking Chava if Hashem said that they're not allowed to eat from any of the trees in Gan Eden. He did this in order to start a conversation. And Chava responded that they were allowed to eat from all the trees in Gan Eden, except that they weren't allowed to touch the Eitz Hada'as, and that if they would touch the Eitz Hada'as, they would die. Now Chava added that not only are they not allowed to eat from the tree, they're also not allowed to touch it. So the snake pushed Chava into the Eitz Hada'as, and he showed her that she didn't die. And then he explained to Chava that the reason Hashem didn't want them to eat from the Eitz Hada'as was because if they would eat from the Eitz Hada'as, they would become just like Hashem, and Hashem didn't want competition. And in this way, the snake convinced Chava to eat from the Eitz Hada'as. Now Chava was afraid that even though she didn't yet die, maybe she would die. And so she convinced Adam to eat from it as well, because she didn't want that she should die and Adam would marry someone else. And the Torah relates that as a result from eating from the Eitz Hada'as, Adam and Chava became aware of their nakedness, and so they took leaves from the Eitz Hada'as, which was a fig tree, in order to cover themselves. So that's the first part, which is the sin itself. The second part is about Hashem confronting each of them. So after eating from the Eitz Hada'as, Adam and Chava heard Hashem walking in the garden. Now because they had become conscious of being naked, and they weren't yet fully clothed with the fig leaves, so they hid, because they were embarrassed. And Hashem called out to Adam and he said, Ayeka, where are you? He did this in order to start a conversation. And Adam responded that he heard Hashem and he hid because he was naked. Hashem then asked him if the reason he was conscious and aware of being naked was because he ate from the Eitz Hada'as. And Adam's response was that the woman you gave to me, she's the one that gave it to me to eat. Hashem then turned to Chava and he asked her, what did she do? And Chava responded that the snake tricked her to eat from the Eitz Hada'as. So here we have the second part of how Hashem confronted each of them. And the third part is the consequences. Hashem then told the snake that because of what he did, he would be cursed. He would be cursed more than all other animals. And he would lose his ability to speak. He would also lose his feet, and from then on move on his belly. And he would be scorned. And Hashem added that since the snake wanted to have Chava, so Hashem would plant a hatred between the snake and its offspring and Chava and her offspring. Then Hashem told Chava that because of what she did, from then on it would be difficult to be pregnant and raise children. And in addition, she would long for her husband, but her husband would be the stronger one. And then Hashem told Adam that from then on the earth from which he was created from would be cursed. And would be cursed in two ways. Number one, it would produce flies, fleas, and ants. And number two, when Adam would plant, very little would grow, and instead thorns and thistles would grow, which he would have to eat. And this curse of the earth continued until the days of Noach. And so Hashem told Adam, "B'zeyas apecha teichal lechem," you will eat bread by the sweat of your brow. And the final part of the punishment is that Hashem said that if they would now eat from the Eitz Chaim, that would cause them to live forever, and they can make others see them as a god. And so therefore Hashem banished them from Gan Eden, and they settled east of Gan Eden. And then Hashem placed malachim, angels of destruction, with swords to guard the path to the Eitz Chaim in Gan Eden. And with that we could go back to the previous slide.